Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello everyone. Today is Wednesday 27th, May 2020. This is Achan Sujan from Warapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. Good evening. As usual, I'm here with you. And thank you everyone for listening and joining with me. Thank you Colin, Manish, Margaret and everyone. So thank you for joining with me on this evening, as usual. So, today is another beautiful day, and although it's a little bit of a windy, but it's quite warm and quite a good day. We have been very busy day today, since yesterday. It's quite busy. Today also we went down early morning to get some materials from B&Q, and also after that I was busy with the University of Aberdeen meeting in relation to this COVID-19 and how can we go ahead, particularly providing a support and a help to the staffs and students as a part of the multi-faith chaplain. So it was quite interesting to know, and also sadly nobody knows. It's very uncertain when will be normal and when people or pupils, students can go back, and the students' life heavily rely on university library, which again still cannot open, so sort of like that. So it's very uncertain at this moment. But anyway, so it was quite a bitter day today for me as well, and we have started this renovation of the barn and just working on the ceilings. Hopefully, in a month or 2 months time we finish that, so at least people can come and practice in a social distance way, providing sufficient space for people to come and sit with the mindful of the social distance. So hi Shannon. So this is the time that we are here. I was just and also thank you Colin for your feedback, and glad to hear that you are listening with previous night talks and reflecting again and understanding more on the teachings, and also dealing and applying in day-to-day life. So I'm glad to hear that that you're going listening other nights talks just to more refined understanding of the teachings and the guidelines for the life, day-to-day life. In relation to tonight's talk, I thought that I will speak a little bit more on last night's talk about controlling of faculties in our life that plays a vital role for the success. When we look at the spiritual growth, I think we have talked about the path to the accomplished one, which need or require a lot of faith and confidence on what we do. Without having a faith and confidence things that we do, then it will be very difficult to achieve a success. So the first factor in the path to the accomplishment is belief. So there is a saying, you must believe in. Once you believe in, then definitely it leads to the success. So the first step is, or the factor is, to believing in that you can do. So this is the first thing. And in that, again, I remember the story from the Jataka stories, in the time one of the lives the Buddha lived, when he was a Janaka. After he realized that his father was the king and killed by his uncle just for the throne, he decided that he will acquire a lot of money by doing business, and then he will develop more soldiers and he will regain the throne from his uncle. So with that desire, he then went on for the business. And somehow when he was traveling on the sea, what happened was the big storm came and their ship was wrecked and broken, and everyone was just crying for help and praying for their gods and their deities and divine things for the help. Whereas Janaka, he had a clear mind and he had a great faith that he could travel this ocean and will survive, and he jumped into the ocean and swam for 7 days, and then he was rescued by the angel, so-called angel Mekhala. And that's how later on he was able to regain the throne of his father. So he had a great faith in himself and his desire and his wish or his aspiration that led him to success of getting the throne back. And that's the first factor that he developed. And with that, yesterday I spoke about the 5 faculties, controlling faculties, known as the indriyas. And these indriyas are very, very important factors for the development to accomplish in our spiritual growth. And in this, there is a saying that people sometimes work very hard to find success, and there are a lot of chance and possibility that they will not be succeed, and that's simply because the controlling factors are very weak. When the controlling factors are very weak, then the success is also very little chance. And whereas someone who has got who hasn't got much this greed, hatred and delusion, and they normally will be able to succeed because they have, suppose they have controlling factors, then they will be able to attain or accomplished in their path. And there are a number of people again that we can see that in our practice, those who come for the retreats, sometimes they have a lot of desire, they have a lot of anxieties in that moment, and they haven't balanced their controlling factors, and as a result, again, it's very difficult to achieve any progress in their practice. Like sometimes people come for the meditation and hoping that they can get peace immediately, they can shut down their minds immediately, or they can erase all those negativities immediately, and able to find peace and calmness, and able to be concentrating on the primary object. But it is not the case, because they have this lustful desires, and because they have a lot of anger and ignorance about the practice and the methods and the faith in it. Then they will put a lot of energy on it, and yet they couldn't achieve even a small concentration. And when they couldn't concentrate, and they take it as the negative, and they normally take it saying that meditation is not their way, and that's how they miss the opportunity to learn, they miss the opportunity to develop, and that's how it works. So in this case, what is needed is to balance the controlling factors. So we have to develop the confidence and the faith in the practice that it helps, and it has a benefit to deal or to help us dealing with our stress and anxieties. And this is, I think, once we have got this faith, again, the faith is not strong enough, and then we give up. Whereas if we have a strong faith and put effort on it, continuously, and dedicating ourselves, continuously practicing, then it produces or gives us a greater benefit in the practice. And sometimes people will say that they put a lot of effort to practice, but they couldn't achieve anywhere. And that moment, again, sometimes we have to check our balance on this concentration, or our panya, or the wisdom. Do we really understood the methods? Do we really understood the way we do? Or do we really have a great confidence in the practice or not? I think this is one thing that we have to check. Once we have checked it properly, what will happen is that we see that there are something needed to balance these factors. And once we can balance among these 5 factors, then that produces the benefit. So it's based on the balance of these controlling factors that brings the success in our lives. So, and in the meantime, sometimes people are very kind, very generous, and very helping mind, compassionate mind. But if their confidence, their energy, their mindfulness, their concentration, and even understanding is still not balanced, then again it's very difficult to attain any accomplishment or development in the practice. So that's why it is also very crucial part that we have to develop. We have to be mindful and making it balance in these so in this faith and confidence, and the energy, or putting an effort to practice, and having a mindfulness in it, and with that only, then we will be able to develop our so-called spiritual development. And this also helps in our day-to-day life. Quite often I do realize myself in the practice, sometimes I have a lot of concentration, but a lack of energy and lack of mindfulness, that takes me to the drowsiness, takes me to the sleepiness. And those moments I have to push myself hard, and I push myself very strongly mentally to waking myself up. Or sometimes I just need to do a walking meditation, and that also keeps the balance of my mind. And one more thing I wanted to add here is that sitting meditation is good, and sitting meditation is very helpful to develop our concentration and helpful to generate wisdom. But whenever we are not mindful and whenever we are not concentrating, there is a very big or high probability that our concentration loses, and our energy loses. So in that moment, what we need to be mindful that, okay, now I need to change. I have to watch my mind and changing it into a walking meditation, or doing mindful things, other mindful things. When we are doing that, then we understood that a walking meditation, if we are mindful of our walk, then that it's difficult to be mindful and develop the concentration. And yet, once the concentration developed, then that will last longer. And then with that, all the faculties becomes balance. So there is a great confidence, yes, that okay, after I have done this walking meditation, my confidence developed, that I can control, I can concentrate, like that. And this, even when you are walking to the beach, or walking to the market, or walking to the kitchen, walking to the toilet, you can walk mindfully. Each step that you are taking, each step that you are moving. So being mindful of that each steps helps you to be mindful each moment, and that builds up your concentration, builds up your understanding, and each moment that you're moving ahead. And that's also, if we are doing as a habitual action, doing regularly, quite often what will happen is that concentration develops, and with that concentration developed, the faith and confidence develops that this meditation or practice of a mindfulness is giving a lot of awareness in day-to-day life, and the effort also there. The effort also coming into that moment. So this is what I wanted to share with you, that sometimes if our controlling faculties, the faith and confidence or energy and mindfulness and concentration are weak, then it's very difficult to be meditating. But other time, if we are mindful and if we have a balanced mind, then it's very easy to meditate. So with this, I want to extend one of the questions I was asked, that there is one family lost, one father lost his only son, and having lost his only son, he is so unhappy and thinking that why him, why not me, why he is. He's still young, I'm old, he's supposed to be looking after me, and he's supposed to be setting a fire to me, not me setting or giving a fire to my son, like that. So, and then I was talking to him, and then I said that this is normal, and it's obvious that you have to accept that your son has passed away, and the suffering that you have is basically the affection that you have to your son. And obviously this is very difficult moment, although it is affection that is causing this sorrow, lamentation and grief and bereavement, but he was unable to accept, and he began to argue, saying that, well, if not affection, then how could we have it, the connections, and like that. So this reminds me the time of the Buddha. Even the time of the Buddha, there was one man came to see the Buddha, expressing that I lost my only son, and I feel so sad, and I'm sorrow, lamenting, grieving for my son. And the Buddha simply said that this is because you have affection to your son, and he was not able to accept that affection causes him suffering. So he went on to talk to the so-called drunkards and drinking and group, and expressed that, oh, Lord Buddha said that I am lamenting, I am grieving over my son because I have affection. How could he say that? And so-called this drinking group of people in a street says, oh, that's not right, I do understand your feelings, and this went on, this became a gossip, talk of the town, and later on it went to the royal family, and King Pasandi, he heard it as well, and he also felt that the Buddha was wrong, and he went to speak with the Queen Malika, who was the devotee of the Buddha. And Queen Malika was not also sure what should she say to the king. So then Queen Malika sent his man to visit the Lord Buddha and ask about it. And then the Lord Buddha expressed, saying that it is affection that caused the sorrow, lamentation, pain and grief, and this bereavement, and this is why I said it. And the Buddha gave an example of saying that in the Savatthi, the city, there was a lady who had lost his son, and he was grieving, sorrow and lamenting that I lost my son. And have you seen him? And with that, she was running around in the streets, asking everyone that, where is my son? Have you seen my son? So similarly, Buddha extended her daughter, her father, her mother, her husband died, and because of the affection, she was simply, a different person, but one who lost like father, son, father, mother, son, daughter, husband, like that. Different families. Similarly, Buddha also brought up that there are the men who has also one has lost their son, one has lost their daughter, their father, their mother, their husband, their wife, like that. And after they have lost their relatives, most of them not knowing that they have gone, but because of the affection that they have, they grieve and running around in the streets saying that where is my son, or where is my daughter, or where is my father, or have you seen them, like that. So grieving and bereaving in that way. So and then on that basis, Buddha said to the man ambassador from the Queen Malika that I said, it is the affection that causes the suffering. It is the affection that causes the distress. It is the affection that causes the sufferings. And that went on into the king, and king also understood, and that's how was able to clarify in that. And that exactly what happened to me, that there was this man who lost his child, and when I said on the basis of what I have understood from the discourses, and he wasn't happy. And when I elaborated the discourse, he was soundly able to accept. But again, I do understand that it is not easy to accept when someone who we loved departs or passed away. So it takes time to understand, and it takes time to heal. And obviously in this time of the pandemic, we can see that hundreds of families, or maybe thousands of families, are grieving towards loss of family members. And in this case, although we do understand that the affection is the main cause of the loss, and it is grieving moment, but we do need to understand that one way or another, if we are not going first, they have gone, or one way or another we have to be departed sooner or later, but we cannot go together, so we have to go. And acceptance helps us to heal our hearts. It wasn't easy when I lost my parents, but over the period of a time, knowing that one way or another we have to be departed, then gradually I was able to heal myself. And which again, before I lost my parents, I wasn't able to comprehend this affection and the suffering and grief. But once I know that when my parents lost, I felt grief and lamenting and sorrow, and that's simply because of the affection. And yet it's still there, but I have to accept and move on with this new family in a new life. So that's saying that whoever is grieving over anyone who passed away due to the pandemic, coronavirus, I encourage you to think, my humble condolence, and also encourage you to be mindful that one way or another we have to depart, and acceptance of this certainty of death, but uncertainty of our life. So I offer this as tonight's reflection. So with this, may you be happy, peaceful and successful. May you be safe and take care. May the Buddha bless you, and we'll see you soon. In a few minutes time we will have evening chanting and a guided meditation. So I would like to invite you to come and join with us for both chanting and meditation. Until then, thank you and good night. And thank you everyone for watching and listening to me. Thank you.